So we got Majin Buu's DNA, King Cold's head, and Saiyan energy, and thanks to all of this, Dr. Gero was able to build the single greatest biological machine to ever exist, Cell X. But the moment he gains consciousness, every single human across the globe, everyone, loses their lives. The few who remain are Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, along with Beerus, Whis, and there's also Cooler. Raditz and Nappa also couldn't survive the ripple effect. It had something to do with their brainwaves. The moment Cell X became a living existence, his superior presence subconsciously eliminated all of those with inferior DNA. Or so Whis thinks. Broly was mad beyond belief at the death of his adopted parents. He powered up exponentially, but the rage was too much for him to stay conscious. He ultimately fell to his knees and then to the ground. Vegeta was confronted by Golden Cooler. However, of course, against Cooler's overwhelming might, Vegeta was unable to do a thing. He was brutally destroyed. Goku suffered the same fate, but at the hands of Cell X. Biologically, he was only 14 years old, but he had already mastered Ultra Instinct and transformations up until Super Saiyan 3, yet he still lost. No, Goku was no match for Cell X. On this day, the Saiyans were completely defeated. Vegeta couldn't physically go on any longer, Broly self-destructed, and as for Goku, he was beyond frustrated. Not at the circumstances, but himself, so he would also succumb to his injuries. We are finally getting to the end of What If Goku Was Raised by Whis. I want to thank you all so much for supporting this series as much as you have. If you for some reason haven't caught up already, the previous parts will all be in a playlist link down below in the description box and pinned in the comments with the most recent chapter linked at the top of the screen. But as for what happens next, well, let's hop right in. So, what now, Whis? This planet is as good as dead, Beerus asks. Quite the opposite, my lord. This is the first time Goku has suffered a loss this humiliating. His soul must be fuming, and that kind of intensity is enough to make anyone stronger, Whis replies. Hearing this, Beerus recalls the last time he had to give everything during a battle. He smiles and says, "Yeah, I guess you're right." Cell X looks at the lifeless bodies of Goku and Vegeta, and then, with a gloomy expression on his face, he says, "I guess this too is the way of nature. You guys drove those friendly penguins into a corner, but now you're dead and they're free to do whatever they want." Apparently Cell X had already mastered their speech. Beerus himself approaches. "Hey, I like you. What do you say about becoming my successor?" Cell X takes a proper look at Beerus. He doesn't like the overwhelmingly destructive energy oozing from him, but he didn't want to just brush it off either, so he asks, "Interesting, but what kind of role do you play in this universe, if I may ask?" "The god of destruction. I am the one who oversees destruction in this universe. Acknowledge me as your master, and one day you'll bear my position," Beerus declares. "No thank you," Cell X instantly replies. He has zero interest in that position. "Are you sure? Judging from your physical composition, I'd say there's no better role for you to play in the universe. Just take my seat and enjoy being the destroyer," Beerus says. "Destruction is not man's job. Nature destroys and nourishes whatever and whoever she pleases. You don't look superior to nature, so I would say no," Cell X replies. "So you're choosing nature over godhood. Interesting. Whis, have I ever been rejected like this before?" Beerus asks. "How about showing him your might, Lord Beerus?" Whis would reply, and Beerus would smirk. "Very well, kid. You'll soon understand which one is superior. Nature or the one who destroys it," Beerus says. "Interesting. So you're going to destroy me?" Cell asks. "Sure, but it'd be such a waste. I'd rather we get along. Wouldn't you say, Whis?" Beerus says. "Come on, Lord Beerus. What kind of destroyer would just walk away from such blatant disrespect? Why not show him the power of destruction in all of its glory?" Whis says. Cooler is also still conscious and watching this conversation play out. "Alright, I guess you're right. Perhaps I got a bit too excited. Very well then, Cell X, you say you are. I'm gonna come at you with the intention of erasing your existence," Beerus states. "In that case, you leave me no choice but to retaliate," Cell replies. The two of them take off and proceed to exchange blows. Cell was too raw and unrefined, probably because of Boo's DNA, but with each blow he tanks, he gets better and better. He was refining it on the fly. Their battle continues for the next 2 days, with neither side giving an inch, but by this time, BEERUS was getting bored. He was no longer interested in making him his successor, and he just wanted to get this over with by this point. So the next time Cell X even gets close to him, he just shoots him with a Hakai Blast at point blank range, and within an instant, Cell X seemingly is erased from existence. Well, that takes care of that, BEERUS says, but he does immediately wonder if this was really a good move, but whatever. It's already too late. Cell X no longer exists, right? BEERUS returns back to Earth and is ready to go back home with Whis as he says, "Guess I'll just have to wait a few more years. Let's just make this Goku guy my successor. He isn't too bad either," BEERUS says. However, this is when something truly miraculous happens. Right before their eyes, a tiny little cell starts floating around. It starts evolving in size until Cell X is restored right back to his original state. What the? You knew something like this would happen, didn't you, Whis? That's why you told me to go all out, BEERUS says. Indeed, I wasn't quite sure, so I wanted you to test it out. It seems that Cell X can't be erased, or at least not the way you usually do, Whis says. What do you mean, BEERUS asks. Listen closely and understand this, Lord BEERUS. Cell X isn't just one individual. He is a collective amalgamation of billions or trillions even of tiny, almost invisible Cell X's, and here's what's most interesting about this. All of them have an independent consciousness. So unless you consider every single one of them and then use your Hakai, some of them are going to either escape or just be somewhere different. This one happened to remain on Earth while you were battling in space, get it? Cell X is essentially an entirely new race, Whis declares. Yeah, whatever. I'm going back to sleep. Let's go, Whis. I'll take care of this when I wake up again, BEERUS says. Whis just laughs. The two of them leave Cell X and Cooler and go back to planet BEERUS. Alright, so what now, Cooler asks. I think I'll remain here with the penguins for a few days and then travel the world and eventually go out and search for friendly life on other planets. Yes, that's what I'll be doing. Feel free to join me, Cell says. Cooler thinks about it for a moment, realizes that nothing good would come if he goes along with Cell and decides to leave. His goal now is to resume his family's business and further increase his own strength, or else he'll eventually die by the hands of Cell X or even potentially BEERUS. Time continues to flow and it's already been 2 weeks since Goku and Vegeta were defeated here at the South Pole. Even Cell X has left this frozen land and is currently in the tropics somewhere. At this rate, it's only a matter of time before they either succumb to their injuries or the cold. Meanwhile, at the farm, Broly gradually opens his eyes and sees the faces of two people. It's Kami and Mr. Popo. Goodness, you finally awaken, young man. Seriously, how the heck does one knock themselves out using their own power? You are truly a mystery, Kami says. Mr. Popo agrees. In his hand, we can see that he's holding a bag of sensu beans, and this seems to be the reason why Broly was finally able to wake up. He tries to explain what happened and also asks about Goku and Vegeta, but there was no need for an explanation. Kami and Mr. Popo saw everything happen from the lookout. Next, the three of them go to Antarctica and heal Vegeta using sensu beans as well, but as they're about to give one to Goku, he opens his eyes and spits it out. Thanks, old man, but let my body heal on its own. That's the least I can offer after suffering such humiliation, Goku says. Kami understands and then takes them all to the lookout. All the humans in the world are most certainly dead, but since Kami is a Namekian and Mr. Popo is a genie, they survived. Korn was alive too and, well, hence the sensu beans. Look, I understand that you're the guardian of Earth and all, but that information isn't gonna bring everybody back. Broly's parents and all the friends I made during my food quests, even Nappa and Raditz, they're all dead. The dead can never be brought back and it's all Cell X's fault. I'll kill him myself, Goku states. Well, that's where you're wrong, kid. We can bring them back. You guys just need to find the Dragon Balls, Kami says. Dragon what balls? What the hell are you talking about, old man? What do you mean we can bring them back, Vegeta asks. But with just one stare from Mr. Popo, Goku and Vegeta go completely quiet and simply just listen. Then Kami brings out the 1-star Dragon Ball and shows it to them. So this is what you guys have to do. Explore the planet and search for 6 more of these Dragon Balls. When 7 of them come together, we can summon Shenron, the magical dragon who's capable of granting any wish to the summoner. That's how we'll bring the people back to life, Kami explains. Vegeta asks an interesting question though. You mean one can even ask for things like becoming the strongest in the universe or maybe even immortality? But Broly and Goku aren't hearing that, of course, so next we would start the quest for the Dragon Balls. Of course, without Bulma, they don't have any type of radar, which means that everyone is going to have to rely on their 6th sense to find them, and it's definitely going to take a long time. By the way, I was wondering, if only humans died, why are Nappa and Raditz also dead? They're Saiyans, Vegeta asks. Well, to be fair, we were also out cold for 10 or so days, so maybe they just fell unconscious and you guys couldn't tell the difference, Kami says. Oh, shit, we buried them, Vegeta screams. Oh, so it was you guys who killed them and not Cell X, Mr. Popo adds. Whatever, no use crying over what's done. We'll just bring them back too. But the real question is, how do we get stronger? This level of strength wasn't enough for us to win last time, so I need to find a way to get stronger and fast, Goku says. If my experience is anything to consider, I would say that you'll grow stronger on your own. The problem isn't your energy or skills, it's your physical body. With age, you'll naturally become stronger. Several times, in fact, Kami says. That's not enough. Maybe it is for Kakarot and Broly, but I need something else. Like, how does it make sense for the Prince of Saiyans to be so far behind the only 2 Saiyans that are still alive? I'm basically the weakest Saiyan in the universe, Vegeta states. Chill, guy. We weren't expecting you to defeat Cell X or even cooler, Goku says while patting his shoulder. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You never take me seriously, Kakarot. Come on, train me to be as strong as you so that I can eventually surpass you, Vegeta declares. Sure, let's come up with a schedule. We'll search for the Dragon Balls during the day and train during the night. So by the time that all of the Dragon Balls are gathered, we're strong enough to defeat just about anyone. I, for one, would be pleased to defeat Lord BEERUS. He's the one who orchestrated the downfall of Planet Vegeta after all, Goku replies. Wait, are you serious? I thought that was all Frieza's doing, Vegeta says. No, Frieza was just his errand boy. The real reason there are only 3 Saiyans left in the universe is because Lord BEERUS didn't like the pillow your father gifted him. You understand, Vegeta? Forget Frieza or his family. We're basically powerless against the real authorities of the universe, Goku declares. Broly couldn't care less about training before. All he wanted was to live a normal life with his parents, marry a proper woman like they wanted him to, and then give them grandkids so that when they're both on their deathbed, they can pass away without any regrets. But this recent predicament got in the way of his parents' happiness. They may not be related to him by blood, but to Broly, his kind parents have always been the single most important thing in the world. He'll bring them back, even if he has to become the demon himself. This is why when Goku and Vegeta are talking, he stays quiet. He was too focused for his own good. From that moment onward, their quest for the Dragon Balls and training begins. Every day they scour a certain area, train there at night, eat wild animals, and then go to sleep. They continue this routine for about a year, but in that time, they've yet to find a single Dragon Ball. It just isn't working. Alright, this is ridiculous. We haven't made any progress in the last year, and Cell X is still on the planet, Vegeta says. Exactly. He hasn't done anything in the past year either. This is good news because we can just continue doing what we're doing every day for the next 365 and eventually we'll win, Goku replies. Yeah, but we haven't made any progress, Vegeta states. Listen, Vegeta, you know the reason I'm so strong is because Whis drilled a routine into me every day since the day I arrived on their planet. If you're saying that you can't delay gratification, then give up. It'll be easier to do this with just me and Broly anyway. I mean, look, I don't even remember the last time Broly said anything, let alone complained, Goku says. By this point, they've explored all of Australia, including the nearby islands. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Broly finally says something. Hey guys, you think there's a possibility we may find a Dragon Ball in the ocean, Broly asks? Now that you mention it, that could be the case. We don't know the exact coordinates, but according to Kami, there should be one in Oceania, so maybe the Dragon Ball we're looking for is actually in the Pacific, Vegeta says. Sure enough, as Broly would split this section of the ocean with a blast, they see something start to sparkle. It was the 5-star Dragon Ball. After one whole year since starting this adventure, the three Saiyans are finally getting somewhere. In the meantime, in between time, however, Cell X was busy exploring the planet while completely hiding his presence, of course, because he didn't want to scare the animals. And then, out of pure coincidence, he happens to come across the Saiyans again as they're about to leave Oceania. So, what now? It's still much too early for a rematch, but exactly whose decision is that to make?